Hello everybody, welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today we are taking a look at Teenage Engineering EP-133 KO2, the Roland S1 Tweak Synthesizer and the Arturia MiniLab 3. Right, what you will need for this, obviously you will need the KO2. This is going to be the brains, the main thing, right? This is going to be controlling the S1. And we're using the MIDI keyboard so we can play our melodies and tunes and chords and things into the KO2. Right, so awesome stuff. Cables that you will need, right? You will need, let me just grab all this stuff. You will need, for connecting the actual keyboard, you will need a MIDI cable, because on the back of the MiniLab, the MIDI output is a 5-pin in MIDI. So you will need a MIDI cable, and for the other end of that MIDI cable you will need a breakout cable, a MIDI breakout cable, TRS MIDI cable, okay, which comes with things, but you know, I've got a bunch of these lying around, but you can buy them if you haven't got one. Right, anyway, so first of all we're going to plug in this MIDI cable here to our, here's me thing, to our keylab, and let's take this all the way around here. Now the other end of this wants to go into the MIDI input. You can see that, the MIDI input here. So you have sync in, sync out. We won't be using that. This is good if you've got like the little pocket operators or the Volkers and things, you know, or you can use this, but and then you have MIDI in and MIDI out, and these are the small TRS MIDI connectors. So we want to be taking MIDI out to MIDI in for the start off. So that's that connection made for the keyboard. Now you don't need to do anything to the KO2 settings for this to work initially. You do have to do one thing for the Roland S1, and I'll show you that now. So let's turn our S1 on here, and you'll see what will happen is once it loads, you'll see it'll be like this. This is because I've set this to receive MIDI clock. Okay, now if you don't know how to do that, you hold shift. I'm going to see if I can see this in the light. You hold shift and menu, and then you scroll along. You've got volume and then a bunch of other stuff, and what you're looking for is sync. Okay, and it'll be there in a sec. So you're looking for the menu that says sync. Okay, enter this menu by pressing this button here, and you'll see that it says MIDI. It says MIDI, but it means MIDI. So you've got a choice of internal, which means you can use the S1's own clock and all the rest of it. Then MIDI or USB. Well, we're going to be using MIDI. So once you've selected your MIDI, okay, you can exit this, exit it again, and that's all set up, and it'll look like this. It won't display the tempo because it wants to get its tempo from this, the KO2. So you then need, all you'll need then, right, is a TRS cable. Now I've got these little TRS cables. They've got the 3 points on, but any TRS cable, an audio cable, stereo audio cable, you won't need any breakout connectors because the output is TRS MIDI and the input on the Roland is also TRS MIDI. Okay, so all we need to do is connect the MIDI output into the MIDI input on the Roland, and that's that connection done. So once you've set up your sync option in here, all you need to do is connect MIDI out to MIDI in. Okay, so now we need to get the sound from the Roland out somewhere. Well, first of all, we're going to plug in an audio out cable. Now this is going to my audio interface so you can hear everything, but you could have headphones, whatever, or go to a PA or speakers. From the output on the back of the KO2, you plug in your connections that go to your speakers, headphones, whatever you like. It's up to you. Now we need to get audio from this into the KO2. So it's brilliant. This is, it doesn't mean you need to, you kind of, if you don't use a keyboard, because this is battery operated and this is battery operated, you can be completely mobile and completely doorless and really make some brilliant stuff. I'm only using this to demonstrate that you can connect all this stuff up together and it just works. Right, so we want to take audio output here. So I'm going to need another TRS cable, exactly the same cable we're using for the MIDI, except this time it's going to be taking audio. Okay, so here, the little headphone socket here, output there, sorry, your head button, the camera. And all we're going to do is go into the input here on the KO2. Now, all we need to do is power up the keyboard. So this gets its power from USB. So in a USB hub or whatever, all we need to do is plug in our USB and we're golden. That'll come on. And then all we need to do is power on the KO2. Now, let's see. You can hear I have some volume here. So now I'm not going to do a tutorial on how this works and how you program it. I'm going to do other tutorials for that. This is just a MIDI connection thing, right? So what happens now is I've programmed some stuff into this that will work with a project I've got going on in this. So first of all, I'm going to hold pattern here. I'm going to choose bank 2 and I'm going to choose pattern number 10. Okay. And what will happen, I'm going to turn the volumes down for all of this. But as soon as I press play on here, and I know that I'm on project 2, if I hold main, you'll see this little flashing light on pad 2. That is project 2. You have up to 9 projects. Okay. So if I press play now, this is scene 1. Now, to turn the volume up of this in this, hit main, make sure you're on main, and this is the input level for incoming audio. Bananas. Now what we need to do is change scene on both of these, right? So I'm waiting for my countdown to come. Swap another scene. This can stay to stay. So that's how it works. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? And the connections are really easy and it just works. The only adjustment you have to make is on this. Okay, so let's try another one. I think I'm on pattern 5 for this. I'm going to change project. So I'm going to hold main. I'm going to hold 3 and it'll change to project 3. So now I am in project 3 and I'm on scene 2, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go back to scene 1. So this is firing this off now. So this is like just another project. Okay, so the point now is, right, if I find let me just find a sound. I'll go into main. So there's nothing in those. I haven't put any samples in. By the way, I didn't have any trouble with Fadergate. It was, everything worked fine for me. So I'm gonna find most of these samples that I put in. I'm going to, I think, maybe use this one. So when I find a sound that I like, I'm just going to hit the little keys icon here and now. But once I hit keys, I can... Now you'll hear that this is mono. What I'm going to do is hit shift and sound. And at the moment it says 1. Okay, so I'm going to change this to key. So now I've got a stereo, so I can play chords in this with the sounds in here. So one single sample, you know. So if I go into main again, see where I'm at, rewind me pattern. So I'm going to record that in. Now, this pattern I happen to know is 1 bar long. So I'm going to increase the length of this pattern to 4 bars. Okay. You can go up to 99 bars per pattern, and each project can have 99 patterns in it. So that it's really quite vast, but we're sticking with 4 bars because, you know, it's easier. So I'm going to record some stuff, right? So I'm on my keys here. I've selected keys. I know that I'm now 4 bars long. I'm going to tap this and you'll see that this record will flash like this. And now it'll give me a counting when I press play. And it'll also start this off as well. Done. Stop record. Some punching effects. I'll do a tutorial for this. It's really quite easy. It's all muscle memory, lots of menu diving, loads of fun stuff to learn. It's very, very, very cool. Anyway, and most of you know all about it. But that's how you connect your gear. Roland S1, been played by the KO2, MIDI keyboard, so you can input your MIDI by this. Or you can, of course, just play it in, you know, or go and find another sound. Awesome stuff. Guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Please consider becoming a Patreon, and I will see you guys later. Ta-da! Tell you what I'll do, I will play my other, I've only done 3 projects so far. I'll play, but they take a while to assemble. It's nice because you get really involved. I'm going to go back to project 1, which is the first one I did, and I just messed around with it. So I'll play out with this. Thank you very much for watching. I'll make sure I am back on my starting position. I'm going to select project 1. That's always good. Go back and...
It's a mistake.
Right, okay. A lot of these samples, by the way, especially...
It's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Are from the production Zeeon for Daniel. Right. Anyway, top job. Cool beans. See you later.